But do you think that limits some sort of creativity? If new ideas don't do well, that you have to kind of play off everybody else's idea and make it your own?
It does. It does. And so where the challenge is for the creator is you need to have a balance of doing what I said and then having a complete idea that's just your own. Mm-hmm. And I've done that a few times and it has worked, and some of them have crashed and burned that are just my ideas. But
you were probably more happy with the end product because it was completely your idea.
Mm-hmm. I've had a video that was completely my own idea. I filmed it on a 230-acre ranch and did hide and seek with I think 10 teenagers from college, right? And it was real. The last person I found got like $1,000, and I was like on a 4-wheeler in an ATV, and like it took hours to film, and we would close like the ranch in, so they had to move hiding spots, and it only got like 200,000 views. 100,000 views or something. And I know that sounds probably like a lot for some people, but but
for the money and time you put into that, you lost money on that.
I lost money on it, and but it's okay, right? It happens.
Yeah,
that's part of the game. So you have to find that in between of what's working for other people and make it your own, and then you also have to have your own ideas and just see what works.
Very good advice for everybody. Just get out there. And the past 2 years with COVID, everything that's gone on, where do you kind of see things, if you could give yourself advice, for a few years out, where do you guys go from here as actors?
I think the biggest advice I could give to people and myself is consistency. Just don't stop. Like, you just got to keep going. And even like when COVID happened, for example, everything shut down, but people still have to make a living and provide for their families and for yourself. And so you just, especially in this business, you got to get creative. And so I was doing videos with my friends over Zoom, and we did like last to leave FaceTime, right? And so we would all join on a FaceTime call, and the last person to leave it wins, right? And so we can all do that from our own houses, but right, we can't just stop our productions. You have to figure out how to keep going. And so even with COVID, we figured it out, and we got through it. And so I think the biggest thing is that consistency. Just don't stop.
I'd say as an actor and less of a social media person, it definitely did put a big dent in the acting industry for quite some time. But I've talked to a lot of people in LA, and they said that in-person auditions are starting to come back more so in LA. Mm-hmm. So I will definitely be moving to LA in the very, very near future just to keep it going, because down here in Florida, there's not a lot going on anymore.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of productions are also filmed in LA for tons of things. But also because COVID happened, a lot of auditions went to self-tapes. Almost everything is self-tapes. And I live in LA. And all the auditions I usually get are self-tapes. I rarely see in-person auditions.
How the industry went, where you just covered all that stuff. It's interesting, yeah. I mean, and what I think is interesting, though, going back to the quality, it's, I'm not outing my son with his Darman video, but see, I had to get that reaction. His agent reached out. I said, hey, look at this. And go ahead, Luke.
Well, I knew who Darman was, and I think he makes really good videos, really good messages. So my agent reaches out, and my dad's like, hey, you have this audition due like a few days. I was like, oh, forward it to me. So I looked and I was like, Darman? I was like, hang on a second. So I continued reading. I was like, okay, sounds pretty cool. So I was like, you know what? I'll audition for it. I get the call back, and then I fly out to LA solely to film it. I stay there for the weekend, and my agent, I think, has reached out to me 10 more times since then, requesting me to be in Darman videos, even though it was a one-time thing. The thing is, I don't know, it was a really fun experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends who worked on Darman, and I've met Darman once at a Vid Summit, and everything I've heard about him seems really great, and the experiences people have from there seem really good.
Mm-hmm. I just don't know if it's where I would want my career as an actor to go towards.
Right. We're in a weird flux.
Mhm.
I would say we're in a really weird flux right now in the industry. I'm trying to find the Darman video. Sorry about that. I don't remember.
It's a while back.
How long was it? Anyway, maybe we'll find it. But yeah, so I just think it's interesting because you look at the numbers on these things and the amount of views, 12 million views, billions, is like 30 billion views.
Yeah. I think it's great because he's creating actual, like, planned out videos, like full productions. He's hiring real actors.
And if you look at his channel, the amount of times he posts a week is crazy. Like, he has it down to a science.
Uh-oh. That was me. Yeah, that was it. Why did our TV go to sleep or something? What happened here? We lost signal. All right, I was going to show, but anyway, but it would, like you said about the quality and what's happening in the industry, and I think we're up. Are we up? Let me see. And I think that's the one, right?
Yes,
that's it.
It's way there.
That's it. Yeah, but I think it's funny because
there you are.
Because it comes in.
What? Who's that guy?
I want to see this.
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god!
It was really fun to film.
And he actually, what really hooked Luke was he was like meh, and then in the script it was like, no, we have. He's a world champion boxer, and Luke's done a lot of martial arts and boxing and all this, so it was really funny, and funny from a standpoint of he's like, oh, this will be fun, let me do it, and it was
right. Really fun,
and he had a blast, and so that's why I think for you guys, who you're making content, right? I mean, this is where I think everybody in the industry is, you can sit around and wait for an opportunity, or you can go out and get it, right?
Exactly. I think you got to go get it. That's the only choice. If you want to be successful, you gotta hustle for it. One more question.
Oh, fire away! That's what we're here for.
If you could give Luke and I and other people our age advice, what would you say?
Oh my God,
for this business.
The number one rule, and you said it. Enjoy yourself.
Yep.
The more you enjoy yourself, the more you lean into it, you will find your own voice. There's that term, find your own voice, but that's it. You guys are super accomplished young men. I mean, I didn't even call them out about, Emmy nominations and all that. Same thing with you, with millions and millions of followers and views, and what you guys have accomplished at such a young age already for most people, they're just like, wow, but they don't realize that you're you. So you just see it. So as long as you never let that get in your way of your journey, like what you want to do. Like I said, I saw you, it's like him behind the camera. It's really interesting when I get actors and I'm traveling. I was just out in LA. Actually, I think we were in LA.
They were hanging out without me. I felt
we
were hanging out because I was at the film festival, the film market, and he gets a call from a friend, a student, one of my actors, and he's in his 30s, I think, or right around there, and calls up and it's like, better yet, I got the text. I'm like, I'm in LA. And he goes, what's up? He goes, I have a self-tape and I need help. And I said, well, Luke's still back home. I never heard another word except for they told me literally until I got back. He's like, oh yeah, we were at the studio and he came by and Luke literally coached him and filmed it. And so most people are like, a 16-year-old kid? And I'm like, do you know how they've grown up in the set, in the industry, been like, so that's where I think for you guys, the hardest part is being 16, but having the abilities of a 30, 40, 50-year-old, because you've had that much experience that the challenge is you have to, in your own mind, be like, I know what I'm doing more than this guy over here.
Right.
And how do you balance that without coming off with being a young whippersnapper is the old, and like,
and the problem with that is sometimes people don't want to take us seriously.
100%. No, absolutely. Yeah. Because they don't, they look and go, oh, well, what do they know type of thing. You know what I mean? No, it's definitely a challenge for sure for you guys. So that's why I say, just ignore all that, get out of your head. The more you lean into it, ignore, because there's going to be people. I mean, I've been on so many sets and people like, they'll throw out a suggestion. Don't you think? And I'm like, actually about like, well, how many generations have I, how many, like, I'm like, I kind of like, it's nice, but I'm like, just sometimes
right.
Like I'm, you know what I mean? When I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. And that's where I say for you guys. So my biggest advice to everybody is don't do it because your parent, like we go back to how we opened up, right? The parents telling you what to do. If that's not what you're feeling, then that's not going to be your true voice, and you're going to see it. All the eyes are window of the soul. You'll see it in the video. You'll see if that's, over time. Maybe not. Maybe you get a 1 or 2 pop, but
that's probably the most important thing is having good energy and having people who you feel comfortable around to make your decisions and just have fun with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
There you go.
The whole thing.
Most important thing.